There's no doubt that teenagers, especially those aspiring for college acceptance, do not get enough sleep on a day-to-day basis. Recently, Boston Public Schools have brought up the question of whether or not school start times should change to accommodate the grueling schedules of high school students. Flyer News decided to investigate the impact that changing start times would have and whether or not this kind of change would be applicable to Framingham Public Schools. Boston Public Schools was debating for a while over pushing back high school start times an hour or so to give students more time to sleep in. This extra hour of sleep could be beneficial to teenagers running on coffee and 6 hours of sleep at night to get them through the day. According to the National Sleep Foundation, teenagers require 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night in order to function well the next day. But in a test conducted, only 15% reported that they were actually able to achieve this.
I have a lot of kids that you can see the droopy eyes, the just wanting like blank stare.
If students could get the 9 hours of sleep and have a later start time, students would be more alert in class, they would be able to retain more information. I think driving would be safer for teenagers as well. Student engagement could increase because students aren't as tired.
While pushing back school start times may be beneficial to teenagers who need to get more sleep, the change could cause problems for parents with young children who rely on teens getting out of school earlier to watch their kids after school. In addition to this, there are many other issues that could arise with a difference of 1 hour.
What do you do with sports? What do you do with after-school activities, kids' jobs, parents that you'll have to now have the little kids being out at the bus stops very early in the dark. Sometimes that's a daycare issue.
Sleep deprivation is very common in high school students, but there are worries that pushing back the times would only encourage teenagers to go to sleep later rather than at the same time. And even so, there are still many worries that social media plays a big part in keeping students up at night.
I think it will be a learning curve. I think students will evolve with that and get themselves to a point where they are disciplining themselves to the point that saying, okay, we're starting later, this is great for me, I can be more alert, more awake at school, but I have to put down the cell phone.
The social media, if you can kick back on that, you know, they say you shouldn't be looking before you go to bed on those screens or at TV. You gotta let your mind settle, and then I think you'd have an easier time getting to sleep.
As you can see, this is definitely a topic of discussion, but this change requires a lot of debate, approval, and strategizing in order to go into effect here in Framingham. Because of these logistical obstacles and the question of if the extra hour or so will really make an impact, the real question seems to be if the ends justify the means. This has been Megan Sidmore and Sabrina Casey reporting for Flyer News.